I've been out of school for over a decade. I have a family and I'm a veteran. I was worried I would possibly get lost in the shuffle, but that definitely did not happen. I wanted to be able to ask questions. I wanted to be hands-on, and I knew IVCC could offer all those things to me. Unlike a university where you're in an auditorium with 200 plus students, you're just a number. At IVCC, you're a name.
Getting an associate's degree from IVCC is your ticket, basically, to any four-year university, because once you have your degree, it transfers just about anywhere.
At IVCC, I studied an associate's in arts degree to transfer to a four-year university. I think IVCC is the right choice. Not only do you get quality education, but the faculty, the students, everyone there, the community, it just feels like home.
Couldn't have asked for any better institution that really supports what I'm passionate about. It is about the student and their success and putting them on a path that can lead them to a successful career. There are three main things about a community college: affordability, quality, and it is convenience. I really do think IVCC exceeds in all those three key categories about a community college. A student really has to try hard before they can fail, because there's so much around them to make them succeed.
Being a little older and coming into IVCC, especially going into the nursing program, I didn't feel like I was going to fit in, but the instructors help out, the classmates make you feel welcome. One day I was in the lab, the instructors came up and already knew my name. I feel like I get a lot of that one-on-one, they get to know you and you get to know them, so that definitely helps out a lot.
I wouldn't teach at IVCC if I didn't believe in it. I believe in their mission. I believe in community colleges. I think that we really have a good role in our community. Every single day, I learn something from my students. The students are what makes it worth it.
It's not just, cut and dry math, science, English. There's programs available, welding, computers programs, there's art programs. If you would have asked me 10 years ago what I would be doing, I would not be saying dental assisting. I don't really feel worried about getting a job after this because I feel as if I have a solid knowledge base, and I think that's going to get me in somewhere. IVCC's just been great.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone can see my screen. So we are super excited that you were able to make, being online with us and during a unique time. So we have some exciting things planned for you today. We have some students, current students, that are going to share a little bit of their perspective of what they think about IVCC and advice for prospective students. And then we'll have some admission enrollment steps information along with some academic programs. And then we'll introduce some learning resources and a counselor that will be able to help us get a better understanding of what we could be doing now. And so during all of this, we want to make sure that you're engaged and get your questions answered. So for instance, you'll see on the screen that you can engage with us through Remind. And so what you can simply do is enter the number 81010 and then at Ask IVCC your question. So you can do that at any time, or if you are with us live, you can send your question through the Zoom chat feature. Again, I want to mention that we are super lucky to have a great deal of IVCC professionals and current students, one of which we have Graceland Quessy with us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Graceland Quessy. I am the IVCC Student Recruitment Specialist. I love working with students. I love getting them to IVCC, working with them throughout IVCC, and we love sending them off to wherever they want to go afterwards. Today we're very fortunate to have some of our students join us from what we called our self-quarantine isolation battle stations from all across the district. So our bedrooms, our home offices, our basements, wherever we're at, we want to bring this programming to you to make sure that you are getting the experience that we want you to have and show you that we're willing to persist despite everything is happening right now. So first of all, we are going to go with introduce Matt Klein. We're going to have them introduce their name, major, program of study, whether or not they're first year, second year, future plans, and why they attended IVCC. So if Matt could start us off.
Thank you, Gracelyn. Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Klein. I am going into business. My program of study, I'm currently this fall hoping to attend Bradley University. I'm a second year student. Why I chose IVCC? Well, I've been involved with a lot of stuff here locally within the community, and I knew IVCC had a lot to offer, and IVCC was very economically affordable. So I thought, what better choice than IVCC? Liza?
Hi guys, I'm Liza. I'm still kind of undecided with my major, but I'm leaning towards something with communication, hoping to figure that out in the next couple weeks. I'm a second year at IVCC, and this fall I'll be transferring to Northern to finish my bachelor's and then hopefully get a master's. I chose IVCC because I went away to a four-year university for my first semester and things didn't really go as planned. And I came back home and I was like, well, I still want to get a college degree, but going away wasn't great. So IVCC was there for me and a really great choice.
Hi guys, my name's Devanshi. I'm a second year student at IVCC, and this year I'll be graduating with my Associate of Science. Next year I'll be transferring to NIU to major in biochemistry. And I chose IVCC because not only was it affordable, but it's also very close to home.
All right, hi guys, I'm Andrea Medina. I am majoring in speech pathology. This is my second year here at IVCC, and my future plans are transferring to U of I. And I chose IVCC because I don't think I was ready to go to a big college, and I wasn't really sure about what to major in, so IVCC was definitely a great choice.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, you guys. So I have specific questions for Matt and Devanshi. Many of our students might be considering getting involved on campus, so kind of curious too, what are you guys involved and anything that you want to share about that?
Yeah, so at IVCC, my first year, I was really involved with the Ivy Leader, which is the college's award-winning student newspaper. They do a lot of cool stuff. And then this year, I've been really involved with the Student Government Association, which is kind of like the student council if you go to like at high school or something like that. And then a part of student government, I'm also the student trustee, which means I get to serve on the board. So I attend the board meetings, I get to do all that cool stuff, and it's a really unique opportunity.
Cool.
So one of the extracurriculars that I'm involved in is PTK, Phi Theta Kappa. It's our honor society on campus, and through it, I get to participate in a lot of community service opportunities, which I love, and I found out about it through my friends who I work with on campus last year.
Yeah, and a little bit about that, I guess. Why get involved at the community college? Do you see anything that you find valuable in any of the extracurriculars, if either of you guys want to jump in?
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest, my first semester at IVCC, I didn't really get that involved. I just kind of came, I went to class, and then I always play the game of how quickly can I get to my car after class. And I'm not sure why. It was just, all right, I just didn't know about anything, and I just didn't personally look. But after that first semester, I started to get involved with a couple things, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many different clubs here. There's so many different opportunities, whether I like chemistry, whether I like reading, whether I like building stuff, electricity, all that stuff. They have all that cool stuff. And I think that just kind of provides an outlet, and it's nice. It's something to do besides just schoolwork, because we all know sometimes that can get a little boring. But yeah, I don't know, Devanshi.
I think my favorite part is meeting a lot of new people. Just going to classes and going home, you don't get to meet new people or make friends, but I've made so many new friends and I love it because that's really a great part about your 2 years here, and you can just carry those friendships onward.
Thanks for sharing.
Hey, Andrea. So we know that Matt touched a little bit about it, but our student government at IVCC, and we know that you're in a leadership position in it. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience in it and what you've been able to do and why you joined it?
Yeah, I am the Secretary of Student Government. I am so grateful I joined it. I found out about student government just by walking through like the student center and just seeing that office full of people. And I just always wondered like what it was. A few of my friends were on it and they loved it. So I decided to join. And I think it's a great way to like for colleges to see that leadership in your resume. And there's a lot of things like I realized that, you know, the school cares about the students' opinions, and it's a great way to be the student's voice. And yeah, there's a lot of things we do. Each person in student government has like a goal for each. We have like our own goals every year. And yeah, we get to do a lot of things. Yeah, Matt, what else you are the trustee, you can tell us more about it.
Yeah, no, as you said, there's a lot of unique stuff from a student government position. It's a way to just get involved. It's a way to give back, but you're also representing the students, which is nice. So if there's ever a concern or anything like that, the student government is always there.
Yes.
Thanks for sharing. So I'm assuming most of our students are interested in, you know, what is class like? Many students, when we at least go to the high schools and talk to them, they mention, you know, it's just like high school. So I'd be curious, I'm gonna put Liza on the spot. Can you just describe what class is like, and how do you know that they're transferable?
Yeah, so I was actually worried that coming to IVCC would be just like high school, but it's not. It's completely different, and it's all what you make it. Classes, if you're in like a really general class like English composition or like a really general chemistry or something, those classes have been about like 20 to 30 people for me. But this past fall I was in intermediate Spanish and we only had like 10 people. So it ranges depending on like what kind of classes you're taking and how specific you go towards your major in the first 2 years of your college career. The best way to know if stuff is transferable is to go talk to a counselor. I think that the student email is like really helpful. They always send out an email and it's like, go make your appointment with your counselor. And in past semesters, I would get that email and right away I would email my counselor and be like, hey, I'm ready, I need to sign up. And then I would be able to go, and they have these like transfer sheet things with like all the state universities, and they're like able to tell like which ones transfer. And let's say you don't want to go to a big university, they are willing to work with you to like get on the other schools' websites and like see what works and what won't. So just go see a counselor. I feel like that's the best way to know if your class will transfer.
Sorry about that. Devanshi, do you have anything you could add about transfer classes?
Yeah, so whether or not you know what path you want to take, you should definitely go talk to your counselor. One of the biggest things that you can just get out of the way is your gen ed classes. Whether or not you know where you're going to transfer, your gen ed classes are going to be the basic core. So you definitely want to go talk to them. And if you do know what path you want to take, then it just helps a little bit more. Talking to them, you'll figure out what classes you can take before you transfer and what classes you'll have to take after you transfer. And you definitely want to have some sort of plan. You know, you don't want to be taking classes that you don't need or taking classes that you already taken once you transfer. So it's just really helpful.
Thank you for sharing. So Liza alluded to this earlier, but I know Andrea also has an interesting transfer story. Could you guys share a bit about that? And Liza, could I have you start off?
Yeah. So my senior year of high school, I have two brothers and they both graduated high school and went to a four-year university. And so when I was a senior, I was like, all right, that's my path. Like, that's what I'm going to do. And kind of like how I said earlier that I was afraid that IVCC would be just like high school, that kind of made me just be like, oh, IVCC, I'm not going there. Because senior year, you start to get like, I need a change. So anyway, I went away to a four-year, and then it was just super overwhelming. I think I just wasn't ready for such a big change, such a drastic change, because it's not just your classwork, it's not the difficulty level of classes, it's a whole new like campus environment, living situation. So that was just all really, really overwhelming to me. And I actually left my university on medical leave in October and came back home, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. I felt like a big failure. And then I stumbled into Renee Prine's office, and she was like, no, you're okay. We're here to help. And she got me into an online class right away. So I got to do that. So I felt like I was doing something. And then she got me started in the spring. And ever since then, it has been a phenomenal experience. The biggest takeaway I have from my entire transfer, everything that has happened, is that IVCC is here to help you, and they want to help you. And I haven't met one staff member that doesn't want to see you succeed, and that you cannot find everywhere.
Thank you. And we didn't pay her to say that, so thank you.
No, this is not an ad.
Andrea, you have a unique story too. Can you share a bit?
Yes. So I am from Mexico. I was a boarding student at St. Bede. I lived at the boarding house with 13 other Chinese girls. And I started as a freshman, like I came here freshman year of high school. And my parents, the plan was just for me to stay here for 2 years. So like I was gonna go back home sophomore year, but you know, I liked it, so I stayed. And then my parents were like, okay, you're coming back to college, like to Mexico. So then I didn't really apply anywhere here because the plan was for me to go back. And then my parents came here for graduation. They were like, wow, like you really like it here. And they realized that I really wanted just to stay here in America. So, and I had no like options to go to, and my counselor was like, IVCC. And I was like, yeah, I mean, IVCC like wasn't really like my first choice, but I became like, I am so grateful I chose IVCC because I really just wasn't ready to just go somewhere else. And it just gave me the tools to just be ready right now to transfer to a big university. And that's I am just very grateful that I chose IVCC.
Well, we're happy that you chose IVCC too.
Yes, thank you.
Anyone want to share some advice with students that are incoming, prospective students? Something that I'd like you guys to touch on is I've worked with students who say that they wish they had gotten involved sooner because for most people it's only a 2-year experience and then they transfer on. And as soon as they get involved, they regret the fact that they have to move on. So if you could share some advice on how to get involved, how you got involved. I know you touched on it, but some encouraging words and wisdom about your experience and everything else at IVCC.
So my piece of advice is to join a club. Keep an eye out for the emails that come through. Sometimes there's postings about a club meeting for the first time or something. Listen to your friends, check out the boards or the TVs in the Student Life Center. Also participate in Spirit Day. That's one of our biggest days where you can talk to different clubs and everything. just don't be afraid to talk to anyone either, even if they're a professor. Everyone is super friendly, and that's one of the things that I love about IVCC. There's such a great support network, so definitely look out for everyone. Talk to people. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Liza, you can go.
To add to what Devanshi said, I really wish that I would have gotten more involved my first semester on campus. I think in my own personal situation, I was a little more hesitant just because I was kind of embarrassed of my story. But I got really involved this past fall, and it has been absolutely life-changing. I've met, hands down, some of the best people in my life through the things that I've joined this year. And it really just, people always, I hear people say that they don't want to go to IVCC because there's nothing to do. And like, I totally disagree with that. If you get involved and apply yourself and put yourself out there, there is a club for you, there's people for you, and getting involved it'll make your experience so much better.
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. The other thing, or at least my piece of advice, is to take advantage of all the resources IVCC has to offer. You're going to be hearing later in this from some people who are going to be sharing a whole bunch of great resources, whether you need help on something, whether it's schoolwork, whether it's just personal, no matter what. You're going to be hearing a lot later about those resources, and that's my piece of advice.
Yeah, I have one more advice. Just, adding on to getting involved and just making connections that will be important when you transfer, just like in the future. They're just very important. Yeah.
Thanks, you guys. I wish I would have known you guys when I was looking at college and whatnot, but that's important. So if students are still unsure or want to ask any questions, I know a lot of the time when we go to the high school, we speak with many students and they're undecided, and that is completely okay. And you'll hear from one of our counselors that, how they work with students in that situation. And then there's students that just know exactly what they want to do, and that is wonderful as well. So everyone has just a different journey. So it's important to know that you shouldn't compare yourself to others, and you'll get the answers that you need depending on the track that you choose. So I didn't want to bring in money, but that's probably a thing on a lot of students' minds. It's just, how do I eliminate the cost of higher ed and moving forward as you not only think about life after college, it could be, professional school or so on. So we have Devanshi with us that has received quite a bit of scholarships in the past, along with our other students on the panel. But I'm curious, could you share a little bit of your experience of what that application process was like?
Yeah, so applying for scholarships can be a lot of work sometimes. You have your essay, you have the application, whatnot, but coming to IVCC, one of the biggest things that you need to know is about the foundation office. The foundation office awards scholarships every year to so many students, and it helps us a lot. Both years that I've been at IVCC, my friends and I have applied, and both years we got some aid. And this is wonderful because money is a big deal. You're going to college, you need to save money, right? So make sure you're looking out for those scholarships. Make sure you're applying for those. If you need help with your essays or anything, talk to your professors, go to the writing center, talk to your friends. Someone's always going to be willing to help you out. And another thing is, if you need extra help, you should talk to your professors, talk to admissions, talk to somebody you know and you're comfortable with, because they also may know of scholarships that are outside of IVCC, or you might know some transfer scholarships that you can apply to. So be on the lookout.
Definitely. And I guess my other big question is, was it easy to write about yourself?
Definitely not. It's hard. My challenge is that I can't write until I have everything, like all the ideas on a piece of paper. So that's what I would suggest. Just get a blank sheet, write down all the possible topic ideas that you can write about in your essay. Look at the prompt, see what you've written down and see what matches to the prompts, and then try to work your way, try to organize, and then get to writing. It takes me like forever to write an essay, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else want to chime in on their scholarship essay writing, or maybe a tip or trick that you'd like to share with others?
Yeah, so as Devanshi mentioned, there's a lot of great resources and stuff you can take it if you need help writing the topic and stuff like that. But just in general, it's always good to just have someone that knows you very well, maybe like a best friend or something like that. Look it over once you're done because they know you the best, and it's easy for like, I think when I wrote mine, like I left something out. I didn't even realize it because it's like, okay, yeah, that's just firsthand knowledge to me. But my friend was like, oh yeah, no, you should totally put that in and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's a good perspective on it. So sometimes it's just nice to just get a different perspective from somebody that knows you very well.
Go ahead.
I didn't know about it when I applied for the foundation scholarship last year, but I helped with it this year, the scholarship workshops that we have. Those are super helpful because, like Devanshi said, the foundation office gives out like a bunch of scholarships every year, and like everyone I know that applied got a scholarship last year. So like that's a really good scholarship opportunity to look out for. And then to attend those scholarship workshops because we're here to help you, and like we want you to write the best essay that you possibly can.
Absolutely. Andrea, do you want to add anything?
I've never really applied to any of this, but definitely I have the Writing Center really helped me a lot with college essays and like applications. Just getting help.
Yeah, it's good to have those resources. And another piece that maybe some students might not be aware of is that we have merit and need-based scholarships. So don't feel as if like, you weren't in every organization and you had the highest grades. Also the need-based, and just telling your story is really important. I know many students have to work. I know I was one of those students that worked part-time jobs and then, attended school. So being able to share that story is important. So thank you again, students, for sharing that scholarship information. We're kind of getting towards the end, and this is a fun question. So if you guys don't mind sharing, what's your favorite thing about IVCC? It could be an instructor, class, anything that you can think of. Hey, maybe it's the parking. So yeah, anyone want to chime in?
Yeah, so for me at least, my favorite thing about IVCC is probably what they call the Student Life Center. So that's a place where students everybody kind of congregates. It kind of acts as like the hub during the day for students. And it's just a great place in between class. You can head down there. There's like table tennis going on all the time. There's just a whole bunch of just like chairs and stuff. There's music playing all the time. We always have some fun music playing. Student government also runs a joke of the day that's it's gonna be pretty funny sometimes, believe it or not. But my favorite is probably the Student Life Center. It's just a nice place just between classes, just kind of head down to for a little bit.
I think I would say my favorite part about IVCC is everyone that I've met on campus and all the staff and faculty and the professors. Like I said, I spent some time at a four-year university and they helped me, but I haven't been to a place where they have helped me as much as they did at IVCC. And I had a lot of anxiety going into college. I had a lot of beliefs like, oh, I can't do this. And IVCC changed that around for me. And I'm going forward like more confident in my college career because of the people I've met. So I definitely would say the people. And then if I had to pick a place on campus, I like the Learning Commons the best. I used to be scared to go in there, but I spend a lot of my time in there now. That's where the peer tutoring center is and the writing center. And all of those students and staff are always there to help you. And I think it's just nice to know that help is available, and it's really comforting.
Thank you.
For me, it's also the people, because as she said, they're so supportive and they actually genuinely care about you. So whether, it doesn't matter what sort of problem you're going through, they're going to be there to listen to you. So even if it's something academic related, they're there. If it's something personal, they're there. It's amazing, and that definitely will always be my favorite part.
And my favorite part about IVCC is joining student government. I thought student government is a great way to just make connections and just really introduce myself to new people. I have met like my closest friends in there, and I think, you know, you get to see how the school, like, it's like IVCC is not just going to class, and there's so much more like behind it, and you really just get to see how much the board and administration and all of those people really care about the students' opinion. And yeah, I am really grateful I joined student government.
Thank you. So with that, do you guys have anything else you'd like to share? I know we had some more like targeted questions to you guys, but anything that's on your mind that you think is worthwhile to share with either students or parents or really anyone considering IVCC?
As someone that went away to a 4-year and kind of disregarded IVCC in the beginning, my senior year when I graduated, I was very confused about what I wanted to major in. I'm still confused. But IVCC was a very supportive place to let me start and to like navigate the different opportunities that are out there. So if you're hesitant about like what you want to major in, or if leaving home and going to live on your own kind of freaks you out, I would definitely recommend IVCC because it's a easier transition into college life than just jumping full force in by going to a 4-year.
Definitely. My thing would just be that everyone needs to give IVCC a chance. At first, I was like, oh no, I don't know. I mean, I literally live 2 minutes away from the school. And at first I was like, yeah, you know, when I was a senior in high school, I was thinking, yeah, well, I'm probably going to go to some 4-year university. And at first I didn't even consider IVCC. I didn't even go and tour it or nothing. And thankfully I ended up at IVCC, and I couldn't be more glad of that now. And it's just that if I wouldn't have even given it that chance, my dad went to IVCC too, so he made us go out there and walk around and view everything. But at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? But now it's like, oh my gosh, if I would have never have done that, then I wouldn't be where I am today, and I couldn't be more thankful for IVCC.
Yeah, I definitely love IVCC. Just like the other two, IVCC was not a part of my plan, but I'm definitely so happy that I'm here. The people are great, the environment is great, the academic is great, so I'm so thankful.
Yeah, I am very thankful too. It really just prepared me to move on to the next step, you know, going to a 4-year university. And I have never felt more ready because, you know, the help of all my counselors and teachers. And yeah, definitely give IVCC a chance.
Absolutely. I'm going to invite my colleague Gracelyn Questley too, just to add some last minute remarks before we go on to our next speaker. But I just want to say thank you to the students that were able to join us. I know it's such a weird time that's happening right now for all of us. And the fact that you were able to make some time to share your experiences with prospective students is really important. So I will say that just to, you know, commend what IVCC does, what we find is that when students do start off with us and then transfer on to a certain university, IVCC students do well, way better than the native student that starts at the university. And I'm just so proud to see all of that. And I can attest to that because I too attended IVCC and saw that I was ahead of my peers when I transferred. So I'm really excited to follow you guys as you make your next moves. And I hope we stay connected. I'm gonna turn it over to Gracelyn to see if she'd like to say some additional things.
Yeah, we're definitely going to miss this group of students. But we're all about at IVCC, we're your community college. And so we're here to show you what we can do to help you on your educational and career path, but we're also there to talk to you about college in general. Do you have any questions about college and finding the right fit? A lot of students think maybe they had the right fit going through, they have an idea of exactly what they want to do and going to a 4-year, and then their plans change. And especially in the day and age of today, sorry, there's student debt is all up in the social media and all up in the news and everywhere. We think it's important for you guys to consider what you have here in your backyard. We're a service to the community, so even if your parents have any questions about college or what we can do for you as a student, if you would like us to explain to them or talk to them about the college process, we'd love to do that. If you have any questions at all, please contact us. I benefited from community college as well. I went to a 4-year university, but I was able to graduate early because I took summer online classes at the local community college. So that's another option. Even if you're not directly going to IVCC straight after high school, there's an option to always come back during your summer and take in-person classes there or online classes in order to accelerate your rate, the time to graduation. And if you're not doing anything over the summer, it's a great way to prepare for the future. Something that I'm always passionate about is, I know we have a lot of students that excel and are planning to go on to professional schools afterwards, like graduate school, law school, medical school. Taking classes over the summer allows you to free up schedule later on down the line for when you have those interviews or other commitments that you have to tend to, like LSATs, MCATs, those kind of testing options. And doing summer school, taking an IVCC, there's so many, we're working on a lot of different cost comparisons to show you guys truly how much you benefit from attending IVCC in terms of time and finances.
Thank you, Gracelyn. And thank you, students, once again. So at this time, we are going to transition into learning a little bit more about the enrollment steps. So next we have Quinn Overacker. He is the Director of Admissions, Records, and Transfer Services. He's going to share the enrollment steps and then also where can you find this on the website?
Yeah, thanks, Aseret. So like she said, I am Quentin Overacker, and what we're going to talk about today is a little bit about how to get started. If you're a new student, particularly, but also maybe if you're returning and there's a few enrollment steps that you still have to complete, we're going to go through that pretty quickly. So the first thing you want to do is learn how to use the technology, which I'm fumbling with a little bit. So if you go to our homepage, I was not prepared. Matt Klein is going to be very, very displeased with me. But if you go to ivcc.edu, basically there's a few things that you'll see first and foremost. Obviously, we want our students and the public to be informed about what's going on campus with respect to the COVID-19 pandemic. So obviously all that stuff is sort of there. And then if you go over to the right, you'll be able to see the apply button. So that's the very first step for students who are new to IVCC is apply. It's a pretty quick form. It won't take you very long at all, maybe 5 minutes. But the important step for that is it gets you in the pipeline so that we can send some communication your way. Because once you do that, we're going to kind of provide you with your next steps. We're going to kind of prompt you when you need to be prompted, and just reminders, deadlines, and event attendance and things of that nature. So if you've already applied and you're just trying to figure out, okay, where am I in the process? What should I be doing next? How does everything that's going on affect what we're doing now? A good way to get there is to click on Get Started right there on the main tab. And you'll see Devanshi, one of our students who spoke today. And so you click just on Devanshi's forehead and you can click Learn More. So we did obviously postpone summer and fall registration because of the pandemic. So we have that message first and foremost. But once you scroll down a little bit, the really important thing for us and the really important thing for you as a prospective student is we want to target that information specifically to you. So the information you need, because everybody's needs are different. So we've got high school students, adult students, veterans, international students, parents, we have a page for them, visiting students. So if you're just looking to take a summer class in between high school and your university, or maybe you're at a university and you want to come back and take that class, you'd be a visiting student. But we're going to start and pretend that everybody on here is a high school student. Again, a lot of these pages mirror each other, but once you click on that, what you'll be brought to is a student testimonial from Megan Brooker, who's one of our fantastic students from Putnam County. But then we have an awful lot of resources down here. So we have, again, the apply page. If you missed that, we have what happens if you're an admitted student, resources, some events that are going on, maybe dual credit, that sort of thing. But what we're really interested in right now is the checklist. So once you click on that checklist, and again, this is for students who are new to IVCC and are just recently graduating high school. What you can do is you can kind of click show all, and that's going to show all of the information that you need to complete. You can click hide all if that gets to be a little too much. So I already talked about the admissions application. The next thing we've got going is we need your official high school transcripts or any transcripts from any colleges you may have attended. So if you are a high school senior, maybe from Seneca, and you took a dual credit course at Joliet Junior College, we need to see that transcript as well. That's going to help us with a few different things. Obviously now a lot of places are closed. A lot of places, just have essential employees only. For us, for IVCC, I'm in the office now, but there's very, very few people on campus. So if you do need to reach out to your high school, if you need to reach out to another college, be patient with them. We'll be patient with you. You don't have to send that official transcript tomorrow, but just keep that in mind. And if you can get that sent to us, go ahead and do that. The next step is financial aid. So hopefully for those of you starting college in the summer or fall, you've already applied for your financial or for the FAFSA. So it's a pretty easy site to remember, FAFSA.gov. You're going to go in there and you're going to enter basically the information for whoever you live with, whoever you're a dependent of, tax information. That's going to determine how much financial aid you're eligible for to help you pay for school. Our financial aid office is still open. They're on limited hours and limited folks in the office. But if you have questions for them, you can give us a call at 422-40438, and they'll be able to help you out with that when they get a chance to reach back out to you. The students already talked about scholarships, so I'm not going to belabor that point. The scholarship deadline is closed for fall 2020. But for the following year, it'll open up again next December. So that's a little more information on financial aid and scholarships. Next, you'll want to access your student email and web advisor account. And now more than ever, it's important that you do access your student email. There's been so much information that we've been pushing out to students. We've been texting students about what's going on, classes postponed for another week and then classes moving online. But your instructors are going to communicate with you primarily through your IVCC email. So the sooner you set that up, the better off you're going to be. Plus, just to familiarize yourself with it when fall rolls around and when you're able to take those classes, just so you know what it's like. The next step is going to be to take placement exams. So our assessment center is currently closed because of what's going on. So that's obviously going to be a little difficult to do if you haven't already taken your placement exams. The nice thing is we obviously know what's going on. Like I said earlier, we're going to be patient with you. But thanks to legislation from the state of Illinois in the last year or so, we may be able to place you based on your high school transcript. And so when you meet with one of our counselors, who we'll talk to a little bit later, one of our counselors, she may be able to talk a little bit more about that. But just know that we're going to work with you. If you've got your high school transcript already in our system, that's great. We can kind of place you based on that. If not, we'll be able to accomplish as much as we possibly can without it. And so just kind of stay tuned for when the assessment center reopens. So then the final step at this point for students, which will be coming up in the next few weeks, is to meet with a counselor. So if you're a high school student, you're going to sign up for a freshman counseling and registration appointment. And that's basically our orientation. So you'll come to campus, you'll get a brief presentation about next steps, and then you're going to meet with that counselor. And what that meeting is going to consist of is you basically telling that counselor what your educational goals are, what your career goals are. The more information you volunteer, the better off that counselor is going to be, because they're going to be able to help you figure out, okay, this is what your maybe 1-year plan or 2-year plan or however long you intend to be here. That counselor is going to be able to walk you through what courses you need to take, what requirements you need to meet, if there's any other sort of transfer questions. Again, Renee is going to get into that a little bit later. At the current time, we are planning to go forward with the freshman counseling and registration appointments that begin April 20th. However, as you all know, that is subject to change. So we will be communicating with you about that as we learn more information. And then you're going to want to register for classes. I'm not going to get into that too much today because you're going to talk about that with your counselor. But just know that if you click on this link for WebAdvisor, you can search for all the classes that are available and that may meet the requirements. And then finally, once you do register for classes, you're going to want to pay tuition. So the tuition deadline date for summer classes is May 9th, I'm sorry. And the deadline for fall 2020 is July 31st. So you've got some time. And again, once you register for classes, we're going to reach out to you and we're going to let you know everything that's going on. So I'm going to talk now a little bit about programs that we have to offer at IVCC. But what I think is important to know is there's basically a couple different pathways that you can use here at IVCC. So we've got students from across the spectrum, students who are looking at coming to IVCC maybe for just a year and then transferring on to University of Illinois or University of Michigan or something along those lines. We've got students who are interested in a 2-year degree here, applied associate in science degree, and they can spend 2 years here, get out of school and go to a high paying job pretty quickly. I should have muted my phone. I did not do so, so I apologize for that. And then we've got certificate programs, which are short term. For those students who are interested in that transfer option, so let's say you do want to attend IVCC for 2 years and then transfer on to U of I. Well, the students kind of touched on this, but the reason you'd want to do that, the reason I would encourage anybody who's looking at earning a bachelor's degree to start at IVCC is the cost, obviously. Students mentioned the student debt load that's out there for everybody, pretty much everybody in the nation. It's more and more important as time goes by, as tuition at four-year institutions continues to climb. One cool thing about IVCC is we've frozen tuition for the last 2 years. So the first thing we keep in mind is our students, and we understand that keeping tuition low is really, really important. And the nice thing about starting at IVCC is that you're able to come here and you may not even need financial aid if you can pay for your classes by working a part-time job, or maybe your folks or family or friends can help out with that. You can really keep those costs low, because then when you do transfer on to that four-year university, you certainly do know that tuition is going to be really, really high. With those transfer programs, so we've got 3 basic degrees that transfer students would want to declare. So once they come here, they'd say they're either pursuing an associate in arts, an associate in science, or an associate in engineering science. Your counselor is going to talk with you about all of that. But just know that the most important thing you can do, the single most important thing you can do, is talk with your counselor here at IVCC. Let them know what you want to major in. Let them know if you're undecided, that's okay. Let them know that, you know, these are your career plans and this is where you plan to transfer to. because they're going to bend over backwards to make sure that all of the courses that you take here at IVCC will transfer. We often hear, in the community that courses didn't transfer to such and such university for certain students. But I can guarantee if you have a good relationship with your counselor, again, Renee's going to talk in a little bit. She's one of our counselors. They're going to advise you 100% correctly, and they're going to let you know what you can do. So as far as what kind of majors you can pursue here and then transfer on, I mean, the list is really pretty much endless. For instance, I was a geology major and I attended IVCC first, and I was able to get the general education courses I needed. I was able to get the intro to geology courses that I needed and transfer on. But we've got students, again, from across the board, whether it's pre-physical therapy, veterinary medicine, physics, communications, English, you name it, our counselor is going to be able to kind of help you along. And the really, really cool thing is, there's certain programs out there like music, like engineering, where it may be a little bit more difficult to transfer after 2 full years here. Our counselors are going to let you know. They're not here to keep you any longer than you need to be. They've got your best interest in mind. But if we want to start talking about the short-term programs, so the Applied Associate in Science or certificates, which are all 2 years or less, we've got the expert here, luckily, and I get to stop talking, so that's kind of nice. We've got Shane Lange, the Dean of Workforce Development, and he's going to talk a little bit about the programs in his area, the career and technical education programs. So I'm going to turn it over to Shane. Shane, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Quentin. So one of the great things about the programs here at IVCC, especially in my division, is they're high demand. So right now, one of the things that you're going to see on the screen, if Aseret shares my slide, you're going to be able to see that there's a huge gap in the current workforce in the United States, and companies are having trouble finding skilled labor for those areas. And it just keeps getting worse as the years go on. So when there's a demand for an employee and there's a shortage, that means wages are up. So one of the good things about the technical and hands-on programs that we offer here at IVCC is you're going to have a job when you finish, and it's going to be a good paying job. And as Quentin said, those careers, in order to get those careers, the programs here, they only last between 1 year and 2 years, and they are also transferable. So we have some of our programs that transfer to Northern for an applied degree in technology and manufacturing technology, and there's some capstone programs where you can go down to SIU and they'll take your associate's degree from here, and with 2 years down there, you'll be able to get an applied bachelor's degree as well. As a matter of fact, a lot of people have mentioned so far about being a student from IVCC, and I'm always proud when I'm talking to students to mention that I went through an applied program here at IVCC too. And there's just, the sky's the limit. You know, you can start with a technical career and you can go out in the workforce, and there's always room to move up as well. So the types of careers that we have in the different programs, we have industrial maintenance, electricity, renewable energy, welding, automotive, truck driver training. We have some health professions. We have dental assisting and therapeutic massage, along with the EMS programs. And we also have CAD design, and we have 2 computer programs as well with cybersecurity and computer networking. So there's all different kinds of ways that you can go out in the workforce very quickly and start making wages for you and your family.
So Shane, can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so one question that we often get is for students who may be interested in very specific fields. So let's say it's electrician, or let's say it's welding. We get a lot of questions about, okay, what are the different classes I could take for that field? So for example, one of our students submitted a question, what are all of the different types of classes I could take to continue my passion in the electrical field? So let's assume maybe they mean residential wiring and they're eventually looking to become an IBEW electrician. How would you answer that?
All right. So there's all different kinds of pathways to be an electrician. And a lot of students come to us, and one of the first things they say is that they want to be in the electricians union, the IBW. And that's a great path. And obviously we support that path because we have an agreement with the IBW where you can go through the apprenticeship program. And when you're done with those 5 years, if you do 15 credit hours of gen eds, you'll also be able to get an associate's degree in electricity from here as well. And so obviously we support that, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to get into the electricals union or the electrical union. So we always tell the students that they can start here, and the union always tells us the same thing and tells the students if they're not in the apprenticeship program to come here and begin their education. So they can start with basic electricity, and then they move on to residential wiring, and then there's a couple motors and controls classes. And then we get into automation and PLC controls. There's a 1 and 2 for that. And then there's a capstone class where the students get to build a project, and it's an automated project where they start and finish with something that they might do out in industry, where they have input sensors, and then they're going to control some sort of outputs with a computer, and they learn how to program that. So there's a wide range of classes that they can take, and they can get certificates along the way. So if they just want to learn enough so that they can get an entry-level job, they can do that. They can get a short-term certificate. If they actually want to share skills on the mechanical side, we have a degree where they can take 45 credit hours with a concentration either in industrial maintenance or electricity or CAD or some of those other programs, and they can put it all together into an engineering technology degree, and that includes 15 credit hours of general education classes, so then they can be cross-trained as well.
Cool. So I've got one more question for you, Shane. So one of the things I hear often when I'm out meeting with students is, well, you know what, I think I'm going to go to MTI, or I think I'm going to go to one of the private trade schools out there. You know, we hear it for automotive. We hear it for welding and stuff like that. So you've got a background in automotive, obviously. What would you tell a student who's interested in going to UTI or one of those schools? What would your response be?
Well, one of the best parts about going to community college is the relationship that you're going to build with your instructors. And, you know, I just mentioned a little bit ago that I was a student here at IVCC, and obviously the connection that I had with my instructors got me the job here that I have today, having been an automotive instructor here at IVCC. But that's not it. I mean, there's smaller class sizes. The cost to attend is much lower. In some cases, about a quarter of what it would cost to go to one of those private institutions. And you're just going to have more hands-on experience here, especially in those programs like automotive and welding. You're going to do projects. And in automotive, you're actually going to work on customer cars, possibly your own car. And you're going to get the experience in the things that you're going to want to do in the field and that you're going to be asked to do once you're out in industry.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Shane, for that overview. And Shane, at the end of it, is going to give his personal cell phone and his address if anybody needs a tour or something like that. So stick around for that.
I'm not sharing any of my snacks.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Shane. So next, we're going to turn it over to Dr. Patrice Hess, who is our Director of Learning Resources. And Patrice is obviously very, very important now more than ever. She's always important, but now with all of the classes moving online, she's a really good person to have here talk a little bit about what our Learning Resources Division can help students with normally, and especially now with the pandemic and everything that's going on. So Patrice, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Quentin. And if I can start sharing my screen as soon as we get Shane's information off. And I want to talk a little bit about the departments that we have available through IVCC Learning Resources. So we actually have a handout that we normally share with students in this type of event. So I'm going to just kind of take you through. You certainly don't need all of the finite details of this handout, but I'm going to talk about our different divisions, different departments within the division, and how we help. The most important thing I can say is that there's a whole team of people here at IVCC who are waiting to help students with their academic and their technology needs. I was so thrilled to hear from the students who spoke in the panel about their relationships with places like peer tutoring and the Learning Commons. And I appreciate everything everyone said so far about the resources that we have available. So I'm just going to go kind of in alphabetical order with the assortment of division resources that we have. The first is the assessment center. And as Quentin said, with not being open on campus, the assessment center is not open right now, but this is the facility where you might go to take a placement test. So IVCC might ask you to take a reading placement test, a writing placement test, or a math placement test. This department also works with your scores, your ACT, SAT scores, and other things. Once our campus is back in operations, we will be offering placement testing again, and we ask that you make an appointment. So if that's something that you need to take care of, you can go to our assessment center website, sign up for a time, and take care of that testing right here on our campus. Our assessment center also provides testing services for local and national type of tests too. So you may be working with an employer in our district where you needed to take a test for that organization or for employment of some sort. You might find yourself at the IVCC Assessment Center taking the test as well. Once you get into classes at IVCC, if you find that an instructor requires you to take a proctored exam, so something that you wouldn't normally take in the classroom, or a makeup exam, the instructor might also make arrangements for you to visit the assessment center. The most important thing I can reinforce about our assessment center is it operates by appointment. So don't just drop in to take a test, but visit our website and make sure that you make arrangements if that's something that you need to do. We have a department on campus called Disability Services. So the point of this department is to provide students with equity and access to the resources that they need on campus. For individual students who might have recently been in high school and had an individualized education plan or an IEP, these students might want to seek out our services through Disability Services to find out what accommodations and support services are available on the college campus. It's really important for our students who might have had special services in high school to know that that information is important to us, but it doesn't automatically transfer to the college. So students will want to make sure that they contact Tina Hardy in our Disability Services office and speak with her about their needs, perhaps for accommodations, extended test time, note takers that we offer on campus, technology support that we can offer students with accommodations and disabilities, and so forth. So again, we have a number of services available through Disability Services. We just need to hear from the students who might qualify for those services and make sure that they're working with Tina Hardy and their instructors so that those services are provided. Right here on our Oglesby campus, we have the Jacobs Library. So it's a library, as you might imagine. We have books available that you can check out, but our library is so much more. We have 3 full-time librarians who are here on staff to serve our student needs, as well as our staff and employee needs, our faculty needs, and our community needs. We're actually a public library. So students are encouraged to engage in things like getting oriented to the library, checking out the spaces in the library where they might find comfortable spaces to work and study and hang out, and then also working with our librarians on their reference needs and their research needs. Under normal circumstances, our library is open from 7:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night, 4 days a week. And we're excited about having the library back open because we encourage students to come visit and check it out. As Quentin mentioned, our division coordinates our efforts with online learning here at IVCC. We don't even know what that looks like right now. So we do offer online classes. We have offered online classes for quite some time. And the college is in a position where you could actually complete an associate in arts or an associate in science degree completely online. So you could take your general education classes, and you could also take those elective or program of study classes so that you could earn a fully online degree from Illinois Valley Community College. We will probably be, we will all be hearing more about online learning with the position that we're in right now. And we're doing our best to support our students who have found themselves taking all online classes for the second half of the semester. But as Gracelyn mentioned earlier in this presentation, taking summer online classes is a really efficient and affordable way to pick up general education credits. So if you are graduating from high school at this point and you are thinking about getting started in the fall and you might want to pick up an 8-week online class in the summer, that might be something to consider. Or if you end up not coming to us in the fall, you go somewhere else in the fall and then you're coming back home next summer and you're working, you're staying with your parents, picking up online classes in the summer is also a really great opportunity. If you check out the tuition, the affordability and the cost savings alone is probably the most compelling argument. We offer peer tutoring. Both peer and professional tutors staff our peer tutoring center. And this is the center where we will provide academic support and tutoring one-on-one and in small groups for any subject. We have a writing center that focuses simply on writing, but our peer tutoring center focuses on providing academic support for any subject that we teach. As you can imagine, math and science tutoring are really popular. Students perhaps find those classes a little challenging, but we offer tutoring in computer science, drafting, engineering, anything that you're taking, any subject that you're studying, any class that you're taking, we can provide peer tutoring and it's all free. We do offer peer tutoring in person, and now that we're offering services online, we're making arrangements for students to get tutoring one-on-one via email, telephone, and Zoom, as we're doing today. And you'll see that those services will be provided in the future, regardless of whether we're online or in person or both. We have a student help desk that's super busy right now because, as Quentin was reinforcing, IVCC email is a critical way to communicate with instructors, with staff, and other personnel at the college. So our student help desk is dedicated to making sure that our students know how to log into accounts. Unfortunately, there are a number of usernames and a number of passwords and a number of systems that we ask you to use at IVCC, but we have a whole team of people dedicated to making sure that you know how to do that and use those systems well. So IVCC email is super critical. Our web advisor system, which is used for your student information system and managing your enrollments and your courses, is critical. A system called Blackboard, where we deliver content for our online classes, as well as instructors just using it to supplement their in-person classes. And then all the technology tools that we make available to you. So again, that's a whole team of people who can serve you in person when we're operating on campus in our Learning Commons, can answer your email, your telephone call, and also do virtual services. And then finally, last but not least, we have a writing center in our Learning Commons, and they too are providing electronic services. In fact, the writing center, peer tutoring, and the library all provide online services right now. So even though we're completely online, not here in our Learning Commons this semester or in our library, all of those service areas are providing contact with students and services online. The Writing Center focuses on the writing process and any writing that you're doing at the college. So you might think of a composition class or a writing class specifically for the Writing Center. But if you're writing a paper for your philosophy class, for your math class, for your automotive class, the Writing Center is here to help you make sure that you're doing your best in writing that paper. They're not proofreaders or editors, but they're consultants who can make sure that your paper is well written and well prepared to turn in to get the best grade possible. Finally, just a couple anecdotes or facts about our division. I've explained all of the departments that are available through the Learning Resources Division. We also have a system called U at IVCC. It's something we subscribe to and we make available to students. It's become super critical in the last couple weeks. It is a system of information that helps students succeed, thrive, and matter at college. It's kind of like a magazine in a sense. It's kind of like social media in a sense, but there are topics related to being successful in college and making sure that you feel supported both academically and personally. So all of our IVCC students get an account to you at IVCC and they can browse through the content in there. We feel that it's super helpful and super critical to our students, especially at this time. And then finally, I'll just end by saying that we have data to show that our students at IVCC who use one of our services, one or more of our services, so the peer tutoring center, the writing center, and the library, are 10% more likely to succeed, earning an A, B, or C than their counterparts who don't, their peer students who don't. So it's statistically significant that if you engage in academic support and technology support at IVCC, that you have a better chance to be successful.
So Patrice, you kind of spoke to this, but one of the questions we get asked a lot from students in the last couple weeks is, will we be doing more online classes in the fall? And will we be adapting to more of an e-learning? You answered this question, but I'd just kind of like you to reiterate if you could.
Sure. It's difficult to tell right now. One of the things that we will be looking at is, as I mentioned, you can complete a fully online degree from IVCC, but there are some limitations in certain areas that you have to fulfill requirements. So humanities, for example, we only have a handful of classes that online that satisfy certain requirements in the humanities. So as more students become interested in online learning, we'll look at areas where we can expand and make more offerings available. So instead of being limited to 1 or 2 or 3 choices in a certain area, we'll probably be developing and offering more online classes. One of the biggest growth areas in online learning at IVCC is our criminal justice program. So if anybody's particularly interested in that program, we are turning online opportunities out very quickly. Our program is growing very quickly in the online arena, and I'm sure Kevin Hermes, the program coordinator, would be interested if students are particularly interested in that online program. But I've also talked to program coordinators in the areas of business, office professional, and computer-aided drafting who are really interested in providing more online opportunities for students. It'll just take us a little time to get those out there.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Patrice, for all the work that you've been doing, particularly during this time, and thanks for making time for us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to transfer over to Renee Prine. Renee is one of our counselors up in the IVCC Counseling Center, and it's been really, really remarkable to see how quickly Renee and the rest of the counselors have responded to what's been going on by basically meeting students just about any time they possibly can that works for the student, doing Zoom meetings, doing phone meetings, whatever the case is. Renee and the rest of the counselors have done a really, really good job of helping out with them. So I am going to stop that sharing. And it appears as if Renee is out of
on a beach.
And so, Renee, I'm going to turn it over to you. I've got a boatload of questions that students have submitted at the end, but okay. For now, I'm going to take the elevator and I'll leave you be.
Okay. Thanks, Q. Hi, guys. Welcome. Yeah, we've been doing our best to handle the virtual traffic from now on. And as you can see, play around with a couple things here. I love being at the beach, love being in Florida. That's where I was when the pandemic hit. So here we are. A couple of things I wanted to cover with you, whether you're a new student or returning student or a high school student. And I think I heard Quentin mention it earlier. I was listening to you guys, but I was also on a phone call with someone. So he did mention the freshman counseling and registration sessions, which are really important. Right now, we're going to go forward with those. Believe it or not, we're going to create some type of virtual environment, probably similar to this, but you will get individualized attention as well still. So I think we have it set that you'd still be meeting with a counselor, and then hopefully we'll be working in concert with Patrice's division and get your web advisor set up and get everything going so you guys can have a seamless registration process when it comes to summer and fall. A couple of things I wanted to share with you, what we do. So, and some of you will see this once. Let's see. Q, are you sharing? Can you allow me to share my screen, please? Unless you, thank you. So let's go ahead And what I wanted to show you first was, this is kind of the roles and expectations. You're going to get a syllabus in every course that you go into for your college classes. And it's similar in counseling. Like, what are our responsibilities as counselors and what are your responsibilities as students? So this kind of goes over that information a little bit, that we're here to help encourage you, to help you do career, academic, and maybe some personal development. We're going to guide you to resources, but it is a two-way street. So in that counseling process is a little bit different from what you maybe experienced at the high school, where you have minimal choices on courses that you're going to take. Where here at the college, you're going to have all kinds of choices and all kinds of opportunities, and sometimes that is a little bit overwhelming. So if it starts to get overwhelming, just say, wait a minute, I got to slow down. It's a conversation that we have with you. You're going to get a lot of information in a short period of time usually, but we're always available either via phone or email, typically as walk-in in person, but right now we're just, punt is how we're doing things. So we just want to make sure that we're here for you and available for you. But in the process of working together, we'll refer you to things like the college catalog, the student handbook, the website. If you're a transfer student, we're going to encourage you to go to university websites. We will encourage you to check your email daily. Use things like WebAdvisor, your Blackboard, faculty web pages. And be in constant communication with your instructors. That's part of the information that we offer you. And, I tell students, okay, you can always come to counseling or call us or email us, because we're kind of a one-stop shop. Where do I go to get X? Who do I ask for Y? What can I do about this? And if we don't know the answer, we're going to link you with the person who does, whether that's your instructor, whether that's peer tutoring, whether that is the writing center, whether or not that is disability services, the assessment center. We all work together to make sure that you guys have the right information. So part of this is that we want to make sure that you understand what you are looking at. So dates and deadlines. I want to show you here. Oop, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. See, we're all learning stuff. I'm going to bring that back up. So when I go down to, why is it not bringing me to the second page? See, this is technology at its best, guys. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that. So part of the things before you start the semester here at IVCC, we want to make sure that you have all of your steps completed, whether that's completing, your FAFSA, getting your books, make sure you're getting your schedule, that you're on text alerts, things like that. And we work with you every semester about your major. What are your goals? We'll help lay out a semester by semester goal sheet for you. We'll follow that. Your goals might change 3 or 4 times. That's why we write in pencil. We understand that. A lot of times all of our goals change. So we'll adapt. We'll make decisions based on schools that you're interested in going away to if you're interested in transferring. I've got students who start some of our applied science and certificates that realize that they love what they're learning and that they want to continue on in their education. So what that means is that we might transfer you over because you want to eventually get that bachelor's degree. So we have lots of ways that we can work with you. If you go to our website, which I'm sure many of you have been to the website, there's a lot of great resources on here. And on the website, a great place to start is Explore Programs. And if you click on that Explore Programs and begin your search, you can look at the different ways to come to IVCC, whether you're on a transfer pathway. These guide sheets, we work with those to give you an idea of what you might want to go to school for. These are just some of the majors. If you don't find your major here, that's okay. We tailor these to each individual student to make a unique pathway for you. So I know a lot of students were interested in, I believe there were some foreign language transfer questions about what it was to be a student in a major in foreign language. We use this along with some of our transfer guides. Each of the counselors works with a major college or university or several of them to make sure that you've got the right information if you want to be a transfer student, whether you're going to Eastern or Western or the U of I. We'll work individually with you if you want to go out of state. I just had a student I was working with about an hour ago that wants to go to Iowa State in engineering. So we were online looking up some of that information and what they needed to go to school there. So there's lots of options and lots of opportunities through this website that you can go and take a look. And then if you're interested in any of our applied degrees or certificates, you can look at all of those different degrees and certificates, and this takes you to our college catalog. So I noticed that someone said something about electrical. They had a passion for electrical degrees and certificates. It's going to tell you a little bit about the field. It's going to tell you what options our students have. It's also going to show you what the related degrees and certificates are that we have for you here at IVCC. Can you build upon these to go into the degree? Absolutely. These are some of the certificates that we have. One of the degrees, these are what we call our prescriptive degrees. This is an engineering technology. Shane mentioned it earlier, I believe. This one is changing a little bit. So we'll be able to show you what that may look like. But as far as that electrical program goes, let me just get back up here to the top. This program is very prescriptive. You take all the courses that you see listed here, and then you're eligible for this degree, the Applied Science degree in Electronics and Electrician. I think I also heard somebody mention something about the IBEW. You can't go wrong if you want to start here and by taking some of these electrical courses. But we'll work with you, whatever your needs are, whatever your interests are. Many of you might have had a program called Career Cruising at high school. So if you're undecided and you're still in high school, I suggest you reach out to your high school counselor via email and see if you can still get into that program. And you might say, hey, that program told me I was going to be a garbage man or a hairdresser, and that's not me, and that's not what it's about, and I just looked at those titles and nothing matched what I wanted to do. We'll help you explore that a little bit further. Usually there's some common themes, and there's some things that might say, oh, you got, you know, line worker or garbage man or florist or something like that. We might look for common themes, like you like to work with your hands, or maybe you like to work outside. So we'll work with you not only on career development, but we'll also work with you on the academic development. Also, if you're having a rough day, rough week, we do a little bit of personal counseling as well. So we kind of run the gamut on what we can provide you in the counseling center, and hope that you come and visit us when we're back open quite often, and that, you know, we could provide for you what you may need as far as opportunities for you to come to school and things like that. So I'm gonna turn it back over to you guys. If there's anything else that I can cover, you let me know.
Yeah, there certainly is, Renee. You are not getting out of here anytime soon. So one of the questions we have is, are there any classes at IVCC to either be an RN, a CNA, or a CRNA? But if you could talk a little bit just about the differences in the healthcare programs that we have to offer students who may be interested in that field.
Absolutely. I just went over this morning with a student. So, and I happen to be, I'm still screen sharing here, I believe. So I happen to be on the correct page. There's a couple different options that we have for students. We have our nursing program here at IVCC. It is a applied science degree in nursing. That's the highest level that we offer. It's our RN program. You come out with, you take the same NCLEX exam as the students who are getting their bachelor's degree. But you can get our RN program, you sit for the NCLEX degree, and then you graduate, and you can even take that program and go on to a bachelor's degree. That RN program is part of our applied science degrees. So if you're looking at the applied science degrees, this program, once you're accepted, it is a limited admissions program. So limited admissions programs mean that it's competitive. You have to take certain courses and test at a certain level before you are admitted into a program like this. We have it an RN. We also have an LPN, licensed practical. And that is, I know it's staring me right in the face, right here, practical nurse. And we also have a CNA, certified nurse's assistant. We also have a new CMA program. All of these are limited admissions except for the CNA. The CNA you can sign up for at any time. We run that every 8 weeks. I will share with you that the CNA program is a prerequisite to both our PN program and our RN program. We do that for a reason. We have a lot of students that aren't sure if they want to get into the nursing field. And by becoming a CNA, that gives you firsthand knowledge and experience about what it is to be a nurse and what it is to take care of someone out in the field. And so that is a prerequisite to both our PN program and our RN program. I think I heard Shane say earlier that even some of our applied science degrees transfer. That is the case with our RN program. Many colleges out there have a RN to BSN program. Some of them even have an RN to MSN program, which is a Master of Science in Nursing. So there's lots of opportunities out there for our nursing program. We also have a traditional transfer program. If you want to come to IVCC, get your associate in arts or science degree, take general education courses that meet the prerequisites for you to apply for a bachelor's program, you can do that as well.
Cool. So do you have anything else you kind of want to add with Renee? We're going to try to wrap it up by 3, but
I think let's open it for questions.
Yeah, so we've been able to answer them as they're going in. Graceland, Aseret, and Matt have been working behind the scenes to do that. So yeah, I think we're pretty good.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for making time. I know you've been meeting with students all day and probably going to meet with a few more, but Renee is just a really good example of how far our counselors will go to help students out. So we're really proud of the work she does. And yeah, thanks, Renee.
Great to see you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a while. See you.
I know. Bye.
See ya. So the one question that has come up about, gosh, probably 60, 70 times is, Quentin, do you have any jokes to tell us? And I mean, I do, but I just really don't want to do that right now.
Liar.
That was Matt Klein. No, but what I really would like to end it on is thank you guys so much, whoever tuned in, whether you were with us the whole time or just joining. We appreciate you taking the time. We know there's just all kinds of uncertainty, and so hopefully we gave you guys some answers about that. And you know, on a personal level, we heard from 4 really, really great students that just kind of talked about their path and how IVCC has helped them. And I also attended here at IVCC and then moved away for quite a while. And I just really couldn't wait to get back. That sounds kind of crazy, but the reason I was so excited to get back is because IVCC helped me. Without IVCC, I wouldn't have been able to do the things that I did. And when I did get back, Renee, Shane, Aseret, Graceland, Matt, just the students and the faculty and the staff here are just incredible, and they're really, really caring. And that it never more so than now, you can really see it. So please, as I said earlier, we're going to be open as much as we possibly can. We're going to be responding to your questions as quickly as we can. If you have paperwork that's coming in, we are kind of way down on numbers of people in the office, obviously for good reasons. So it may take a little bit while longer, but just have patience with us. And now more than ever is, kind of the time to focus on what's important. And not to sound super cheesy or corny, but I think more than anything else, what we can do is appreciate those around us that are making sacrifices. Like here at IVCC, the facilities department, they've been working, they've been doing the deep cleaning stuff. You see people at the gas station, at the grocery store, just be kind and recognize their humanity and tell them thank you for everything that they're doing so that your life can be as normal as possible. Aseret, I'm going to turn it over to you for the final bit. And
yeah, thanks. Just wanted to say thank you to everyone. And if you have any ideas or thoughts on what we could do to cover for future Zoom videos, we're welcome to hearing what you think. Again, thank you.
Okay, see ya.
Bye-bye.